Hey, happy Labor Day. I just wanted to come on for a quick moment and remind everybody about why we have this weekend off and why I feel that the labor movement is so important right now, and how my noble adversary, who I refuse to name, has voted again and again against workers. So, my family was a railroad family. My great grandfather, my grandfather, my father, they were all railroaders. And when my great grandfather came with the Great Northern Railroad, there were no unions, and they worked unimaginable hours. They put their lives at risk every day, and there was no not proper compensation or safety standards. So my family saw the evolution from when there were no unions to what happens when you have a good, strong union. And so my great grandfather, his wife was a little bit more active. She was actually a Trotskyite, and she felt that workers should own the means of production so that they could be empowered. An example of that is like an employee-owned store. Okay, so an employee-owned company. That's what she thought was important, rather than all of the money going to the top and then the workers basically being slaves. So my noble adversary has voted repeatedly against workers' rights and for the corporations that she works for. She is a nurse and works at Logan Health, which I'm going to do a whole video on Logan Health and why they're a danger to Montana. Not as to be afraid of, but just to be aware of their enormous influence. So anyway, she voted for the right to work legislation that would basically make it so that an employer could pay less than minimum wage. I worked for about 2 months, maybe 3 months in Idaho, and Idaho is a right to work state, and I think I made $2 and something an hour. And I quickly came home where I was making almost $5 an hour. So anyway, right to work states take away, they really try to undermine unions, and they also undermine, they say their right to work. Yeah, you have the right to work as a slave, basically, barely subsistence, not a living wage. And so she has voted for that. She's also voted for the part of the right to work legislation is to stop unions and allow what I'm going to call scabs, because that's the language I was taught when I was growing up. Is a scab is somebody who crosses a picket line and works for a company when unions are on strike, when they're trying to use collective bargaining to get a better wage, better working conditions. So basically, Amy Regier voted to, I wasn't going to say her name. I did. Now you know who I'm talking about. Anyway, she voted that people should not have to join a union and receive the benefits that the union workers receive through their union wages and the collective bargaining. I think you don't have to join a union if you don't want, but I don't think you should receive the benefits that people have collaborated, they spent their union wages on, and then you get nothing. I think if you don't want to join a union, that's your right, but I think you have to negotiate your own wages and your own workers' benefits without being benefit with that. That's why they called them scabs.